Well, good evening to everyone. How is everybody Saturday night? I hope you all are enjoying yourself in your self-imposed uh, claustrophobia, and you're staying healthy and having fun. And so, how is everyone tonight?
Oh, me? I'm
Yeah.
doing fine. I'm doing fine.
Oh, yeah. I
Uh,
guess I should do the whole introduce everyone. Of course, uh, this is of course everybody knows Big Al, our co-host. Hi, Al. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Looking a little peakish as my picture would indicate, but so far so good. Nice quiet day. Watched a couple of Christmas movies on Hallmark. Hallmark's having a special feel good Christmas weekend. So
That's pretty cool.
I watched the one with Brandon Routh, the Nine Lives of Christmas.
Oh, there you go.
I love
And
that one.
and then of course my lovely wife Nanette. How are you handling your cloistering?
Well, I'm with my best friend, so not it's not all bad.
Excuse me.
I do have to say, every weekend I always say the best weekends are the weekends we can just spend home alone together. And now we've been able to do that almost all week. So I'm really not complaining here.
I say by Tuesday you'll start to hear the dun 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 dun.
Maybe.
Dun, 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 Calorie. Well, I forget what the.
Actually, I don't know. I think what, if anything, will start to go, oh, I'm getting
Troika.
bored. I'm getting tired. I think I'm going to take a nap, that kind of thing.
So you guys feeling okay? Doing all right?
So far, yeah.
Absolutely.
So I don't think the
Well,
stream
good.
has heard this yet, but I shared it with you and Michael. So there is a possibility, a slight chance that we may have been exposed. A couple of our co-workers have taken sick and separately said, yeah, we've gone and we've gotten tested, just to see if we've contracted this thing. And at least one of them got his test results back. No, it was just a ordinary upper respiratory infection, but the other coworker hasn't said yet, so we don't know.
Yeah, he said he won't find out until Monday. So here's hoping that he comes back. We was respiratory. I mean, he has asthma, so that could be it.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not real concerned, but the fact is, it's a possibility, and you know,
I'm getting a.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nanette kind of cut out for a second, and then I was hearing her as like pausing and coming through the earphones separately from across the room. I
I
don't know
turned
what
down my volume, so hopefully that helps.
you've got some, Professor Geek type lag is what's happening. So I don't know what's happening through your system, but yeah, let me know if I start doing that, Al. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I just like it's just like far away.
Yeah, I understand. So what I'm going to do is as I promised everybody, I am going to drop the link to the movie we'll be watching tonight, and then I'm going to tell you all what we are watching tonight.
Well, we should play a little game with them, see if they can guess.
Oh, well, I just dropped it. So if they go ahead and jump over there, they'll know for sure. But I decided that I wanted to do something that was in keeping with the current events of the week. We're all talking about social distancing and keeping our distance from each other, and the possible contagion,
locking ourselves in houses.
exactly. And so I also, because this was last minute, we were originally supposed to do Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. It was going to be on Professor Geek's channel with Sound Engraver, but both of them were unable to make it tonight. I said, okay, well, we gotta jump in and do something, right? But I didn't want to do something that you all wouldn't have a chance to get, a DVD or a download or whatever with no notice. So I said, we got to get something that there's a link to that everyone can just, click on and watch together. So I immediately think public domain. And I looked at a couple of different ideas. I had looked at some very obscure films. There was one called End of the World with Christopher Lee. There was another Japanese produced film called Virus. I looked at those. a short film called Dinner for One. I thought about. Even looked at the 1979 version of Nosferatu, which is also about a vampire that brings in a plague.
But that's the one. That's the Klaus Kinski, right?
Exactly, the Klaus Kinski version.
And the trouble with that, there's two versions. There's an English version,
yeah,
and then there's a foreign language version.
Right, and the foreign language version is actually, I found a link for that I would have been able to share. But then I started thinking, well, why don't we just go with the classic original, Contagion film that happens to be in the public domain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tonight, my friends, we're going to watch the original Night of the Living Dead. That's the link that I dropped in there for you.
1968, Roger Corman. Roger Corman? Yeah.
Well,
Roger Corman?
George Romero.
Romero. God, I always get those two mixed up.
Yep. So, and why is it in the public domain? Because of just the accident of not picking up and holding on to those rights. It just fell into the public domain. And once it did, well, it was out there and everyone can, and that, and on another night, and I'm sure Fan Man knows a lot more about this. He could talk about why then there's the Living Dead series and there's the Dead series and how they branched off from this one. But a lot of interesting social commentary that goes into this. And it's just a good little creepy kind of movie. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's one that it's been forever since I've seen, and I honestly don't remember a lot about it. I mean, I know the general thing, but it's been so long that I've a lot of it just dumped out of my head. So it'll be a good refresher.
I don't think I've ever seen it. So yay!
Yeah. Are you sure you never saw it with me? They're coming to get you, Barbara. No, you never?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll watch it. I mean, now let's face it, compared to a lot of the other movies, zombie movies and stuff that have come since then, this is not what you'd call really terribly scary. But
no, it's more atmospheric than it is.
Very the black and white
than it is, but with makeup and gore.
Yeah,
it's more visceral terror. Is visceral a word? I don't even know if that's the right word.
On an instinctual level more
than
what you're actually seeing. Yeah,
it's instinctual. But I mean, if anybody's familiar, my avatar is it's just an art piece of the Tar Man, which is from Return of the Living Dead, when they kind of rebooted. That was back in the 80s, and that film just was terrifyingly gross but very good. A very good film. If you like a zombie film, you gotta watch Return of the Living Dead. Really good film. But I put Tarman in there last night because the Fan Man and Professor were both doing horror theme, and that was the only one I really had available.
Yeah. So real quick, I want to go back to the stream and get my greetings out. So although he doesn't realize it, the very first comment was from Netter, but I don't know what it is. If someone puts in a comment way early, it seems to drop off. So all the comments
I've noticed that, like the ones who do the first, and the first seems to drop off.
Yeah, because even Chris P and old Mr. Hi Guys, they said something about being first too, and those comments have dropped off.
Yeah.
So it was originally Netter, then I believe it was Chris P, and then Owen Lister. Hi guys, Crizzy Kitty, you're here. Casey Scott. Let's see who else we got here. Melissa Harris. There you go. Daniel Heron.
Did you say Chris P?
I did say Chris P. He was the first one.
Age Boomer. Okay, yeah. Owen Lister.
And
Melissa Harris.
We got Melissa Harris, and there we go. I think that's everybody. We got 10 watching, but not everybody has commented. I don't believe so. If you haven't commented and I didn't say hi to you, I'm sorry. But if you're lurking and hiding in the shadows, I don't know you're there.
Yeah. Melissa Harris mentioning about Kenny Rogers passing.
That's kind of too bad.
another icon. He was to me like Garth Brooks was.
Right.
You know, like in the late 70s, early 80s, man, Kenny Rogers was the man for that crossover country stuff.
Casey
Yeah.
Scott said that a lot of the commentary you can pull from Night, the crew never intended to put on film.
Wow, I didn't know that. Yep. Hey, and if anybody knows any trivia about this, by all means, make sure that you're sharing it in the comments. We'll talk about it. But we're pretty much coming up on the 15-minute mark. I'm thinking we should go ahead and start because let's face it, we got almost 2 hours to chit chat. So why don't we go ahead and do it?
So whereabouts are we starting here?
Let me get that link one more time for y'all. So I'm going to start it right from the 00 mark.
Is it a blank screen or is it?
It's a blank screen.
Okay, so I'm good.
And then the very first physical scene is the car on the road.
Yeah,
it's like a road. Yeah.
Yep. So
I'm already getting busted by who did that? Oh yeah, Melissa Harris. Big Al will love this film. Plenty of bare feet with Barbara.
I never really noticed that before, but I guess Big Al would be more likely to notice than I would. Okay, so go ahead and open up that link in another tab. Remember to right click on it because if you just click on it, you're just gonna lose the stream and just go to the movie. And I'm lucky I got 2 screens, so I could put the movie up on the big screen so Nanette can see it too, and then I can still see the comments down on my other. And getting ready. Okay, so go ahead.
Sorry, if right-clicking on these link doesn't do it for you, for the YouTube channel we're on, go to the tab that's on. Right-click on that, duplicate it. It'll open up another YouTube tab, and then you can just click on the link in that one and open up just fine because that's what I ended up doing.
Al, can you tell that we work in an area where we have to tell people how to open new tabs and how to
Are you kidding? I have to ask people what their date of birth is because they don't know.
Yeah,
they type it in wrong.
Yeah, so we kind of slip into that mode.
Yep. Oh, it's like sometimes that magical little right click.
Yep.
A lot of people forget about. Oh Lord, who's digging me?
Is it okay for me to go ahead and start, or do you need to check that?
Oh no! You know what? This is my time. Let's go.
All righty then. So again, we're right at the 00 mark. It's all black, and I'm going to go ahead and start in 3, 2, 1, play.
Zombie action. Do, 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 do. Oh, the road.
On the closed captions.
Yeah, that's right. It's YouTube, so we can do closed caption. I forgot about that.
An Image 10 production.
Oh, and I guess I need sound too, so I can hear it. There we go. So this is one of the classics of low budget, and I got to be honest with you. It's like you were saying, Al, that visceral feel that just it doesn't feel like it's not a big budget film, so it doesn't have that overly smoothed edged feel to it. It's this very rough, generic.
It's like you're in it and it's happening. It's not polished. It's not produced. It's gritty.
Yeah.
And that, and like I said, a lot of people, this is during a time they could have done this in color, but I don't think this would have had nearly the impact.
No,
if it were in color.
No, I think the black and white really lends something to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, this couldn't possibly be the first movie to do this, but it's the first one I can think of where you have a kind of an apocalyptic thing going on, and the real danger is the other people you have to interact with more so than the contagion, the zombies, and the so forth.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you're dealing with a bunch of people in a perilous situation, and suddenly like paranoia and everything starts happening. I mean, a lot of Twilight Zones had a few of them had that kind of going for them, like the one where the aliens were messing with like the lights, the electricity, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That town on whatever street, I forget what the name of it. But yeah, those films are very.
Aged Boomer was saying this was one of the first DVDs he ever bought. He was talking about his particular version of it. Yeah, because it was in the public domain, literally anybody could release it on DVD. That's why you'll find it in collections of crummy DVD. Like you'll have like 20 or 100 DVD movies on a DVD, real low resolution. You'll find them for $5 at wherever. And yeah, sure, there could be other really spiffed up prints. I think there's even a colorized version out there.
Man, look at those glasses that guy's wearing. They're like Coke bottle bottoms.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are some pretty serious glasses. Yeah, Chris P points out that Walking Dead picks up that theme where you actually are more concerned about the other human beings you interact with than the zombies. I honestly think they got that directly from this. It's an integral trope of the zombie.
Yeah, because when you think about it, you can deal with a zombie.
Yeah.
Because I mean, well, if you have the right tools, because their motivation is one thing, and they're acting on pure instinct. There's no question. They're not strategizing. They're coming straight at you for your brains or your whatever, the meat.
And
so,
the thing
but the people that you're with, they'll have agendas and they'll do things to you in order to save themselves. It's
they're stupid and panicky, and they make dumb decisions that can get everyone around them killed.
Yeah.
So what I find really interesting, you kind of have to think about it the same way that you think about the vampires in From Dusk Till Dawn. That was a brilliant. Remember, they all come together and go, okay, now we know vampires are real. What do we know about vampires? And they start throwing out all these things. He goes, no. Not what we know from movies. What do we know is real about these real vampires? You have to put away all the mythology and go, this is something new. What do I actually observe? By the same token, if you're going to deal with zombies, we think we know things about zombies because we've seen all these movies. But if this ever actually really happened, it would be just the same as these people who've never had zombie movies, So they're just learning, okay, the dead are coming to life. They're coming after us. How do we stop someone that's dead? What does it actually take to kill them? Like right here. This is something that Shaun of the Dead picks up on too. Somebody that's just walking in a zombie-like gait doesn't necessarily. So you don't think it.
Always liked a nice pair of driving gloves.
Yeah, me too. Well, of course, and that's a very interesting point. They're innocent. Hey, Evelyn, so glad you could make it. Let me drop the link in for you again. So, if you want to go ahead and open up the movie, we'll let you know where we are. If you want to jump ahead, we're coming up on we're coming up real close to the 7-minute mark. We're at 6.5. Really just said they're coming to get you, Barbara. And they encountered their first zombie. And by the way, this zombie that's on the screen right now, he's the iconic one that you see in the posters and whatnot. He actually has an action figure that was put out by, was it Figures Toy Company?
Ooh.
I'm not sure. So Torrin Clegane says the guy looks like Michael Caine. Yeah, he kind of does.
Oh, the one that just got killed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope you got the car keys, Barbara. Why do they always fall? And then they lay there just looking back. It's like,
Yeah.
get the flip up and run.
Although
That's
kicking
right.
off the shoes is clever.
Kick off their shoes, baby.
Well, because it's not easy to run in high heels.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you're you're gonna need those keys there, girly girl.
Do you? You've had that problem before?
But that's a very lively zombie.
Well, he's recently dead. It's not like he's had time for his body to begin to atrophy. Although I don't think Romero put that much thought into it. I understand that in The Walking Dead, they actually did put that kind of thought into it. Notice this. This first zombie we see actually used a tool.
Mm-hmm.
He's not completely mindless. He had the intelligence to pick up a rock to break the glass.
And she just released the emergency brake so she can at least get going.
Yeah.
Hopefully she picks up enough speed where it can just jump into gear.
Okay, so Evelyn, I don't know where you're at right now, but we are just hitting 8 minutes, 57, 58, 59, 9 minutes.
Nice going, Barbara. Now you're up against a tree, Barbara.
And again, we have a monster that is very slow moving, not very agile, so you can pretty much outrun them. What becomes the real danger is the multitudes as there are more and more of them. I think a missed opportunity with this storyline would have been her brother reanimating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he'd have been nice and lively as well.
True. And how much more horrifying when it's, a loved one that just died and now comes back reanimated. So again, drawing the comparison between, this and what's going on in the real world right now, we've got a contagion that in and of itself. Okay. So you're at about 10, 12, 13, 14. That's about where we're at. We have a contagion that in and of itself isn't super deadly. There are ways to protect yourself, and if you keep your head and you're careful and you do what you need to do, you're gonna be okay. It's the other people out there that are dangerous. So you can't get the basic supplies that you need because people are out there being dumbasses.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, she just locked herself in the house.
I've got to say, Melissa Harris saying that this character's barefoot most of the time. I can't help but look at her feet all the time. Every time they pan down, and I look at her feet.
Yeah, which I never noticed before, but now that I'm paying attention to it, it's a great little detail because she did kick off her shoes, and they didn't back off of that. If she kicked off her shoes, now she doesn't have her shoes. And they have to continue, with that premise. You don't suddenly see her in shoes again or something.
Right, yeah. And like I said, it was a smart thing because, one, high heels, hard to run in anyway. Not that I know, but I hear.
Right.
But you lose the one. It was a smart move to kick the other off.
Yep. Now, personally, I would have picked up the shoes and carried them with me because you
Mhm.
may need them later on.
True.
You know, if you are
But
no longer running and need to cross, broken ground or broken glass or something, you want to put something on your feet.
except you got Mr. Shambler coming after you.
True. And that's what happens too when someone's panicking. You
Yeah.
don't think, you just act.
'Cause I always think of the running in heels. If anybody remembers the first Jurassic World with
Yep.
Alice Bryce Howard, that was like a
Yep.
big controversy. And she came out later and said that was her idea. She wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, how come it's suddenly night?
Well, it's really hard to say because there's also some pretty bright areas of light in between the trees. So is it just shadowed or is it actually night?
Oh, Zombie Man's got some friends.
Well, you don't want him to be lonely.
Yeah, I would have like totally searched this house for weapons, shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Shatoran Clegane points out that it's also a very smart zombie because he cut the phone line. Again, just like picking up the brick to break the window. These are not completely mindless zombies. That idea doesn't come along till later. And here we have, for all intents and purposes, the hero of the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, and why didn't you take her to your car and escape? It's like that commercial. Why don't we get in the running car? No, let's go into the shed with all the knives hanging down.
Well, you got to figure he's got a story that goes back before this too. We just haven't seen his story.
That's why he didn't get her in the car. He's out of gas.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You get the impression he had been driving, and now he's like, I can't just stay in my car. Oh, look, there's shelter. Yeah, Evelyn knows exactly what you're talking about. Let's hide behind the chainsaws.
I did. That is a good one.
And I love the serial killers just sitting there going, oh my God.
It's like, what the hell? Yeah.
And I think that's the frustrating thing. You follow this guy, he's smart, he keeps his head, he tries to take care of himself and the others, and he ends up getting frustrated later on by other people just being stupid.
Which is a good thing to call. I always like it when you have a horror movie and you have that character that's calling the people out on just, it's like that's exactly what they do in a movie.
Yep. Casey Scott just gave us our first really good bit of trivia here. He said Dwayne Jones's character was originally a trucker, but they changed it because of how eloquent he was.
Mm-hmm. He does seem that, like,
yeah,
because the first thing I was like wondering is like, I wonder what he is, like a teacher or something. Because
yeah, that's what I thought, like a teacher or something like that.
He has that bearing.
Right.
It broke my headlight.
Yeah, it's like, do they not? Is that a strategic thing to lower the light, or just being destructive?
I would listeners like if it was Samuel Jackson leading, everybody would listen.
Well, you do have a point there.
Nope, I wouldn't. He ruined Colson's cards. I'll never forgive him.
Yeah, she does not like him ever since that.
Ever since what?
Ever since he ruined Coulson's cards and Shield.
Yeah.
He got blood all over his collector cards. You don't do it to somebody's collector cards.
That's true. I was ticked when the cat scratched him.
Yeah. Well, that's why I didn't want to watch that movie at all, because I knew it was going to ruin everything.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I don't know too much about the behind the scenes on this. I wonder, because one of the things I try to do in zombie movies doesn't always work. It has when I watched The Walking Dead. You can look at a zombie and you kind of get the backstory of how they died if you pay close attention. And a lot of times they put that thought into it. I'm not sure that all do that though, and I'm not sure they did that here.
Yeah, you just make them up, and they're
just
like,
make them look like corpses.
Yeah, make them look dead. That's all we need.
Right. Now, for this guy, the blood coming out of his mouth, you have to assume he's already fed on someone or something.
Oh. I think it'd be handy to have a sword to fight these guys.
So Casey Scott also said that Dwayne Jones hated guns, and after every scene, the crew had to hold the gun because he despised guns so much. That is kind of creepy. Those eyes still moving.
I was like, well, his eyes are rolling. Did they mean to have him do that, or?
Melissa Harris said the first zombie was a convicted serial killer who died in the chair. Really? Where did you hear that? Or is that something you just deduced? I mean, it's an interesting factoid if true.
Light that guy on the porch. That's not a good idea.
Not only that.
Okay, he is off the porch. Okay, he's off the porch.
What the heck? I didn't see him douse him in gasoline. How did that catch fire so quickly?
Well, the human body, it does have the fat, and the fat will burn.
Yeah, but not like that. Not that quickly.
I know, yeah. But that's one of the things about spontaneous combustion they're always talking about.
Evelyn said her screen went black. Last time when you need a timestamp, Evelyn will tell you what's going on.
Yeah, I'll drop the link again for you. We're at the 20-minute mark.
Ooh, I like that nice little flip he did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, nice hammer. That'll do.
I had a hammer. I kill zombies with it.
Oh, I see. Aged Boomer is pointing out that the first zombie being a serial killer was in the Rousseau special edition of this movie. I see. Okay. Okay, I get you. Now,
she's still a shot.
Here we have a trope that in this modern PC age, they can't abide anymore. The idea of the woman, emotionally not being able to handle the circumstance and kind of going into shock. That used to be a trope of movies. Now I understand getting away from that. But what really bothered me was when they remade this and they cast Barbara with Patricia Tallman, who I love Patricia Tallman.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't know she played the part.
Yep. at one point, when they're trying to get her act together, she like snaps out of her reverie, and then she goes all Sigourney Weaver and tears off her sleeves and becomes, and I'm
Super
like,
Barb.
yeah, and I'm like, that's, and it also takes away a lot of the agency of Ben's character, when she's like shouldering some of that. It's like,
Wolf 10 Media is asking, hey, everyone, what are we watching? We're watching the 1968 Night of the Living Dead.
yep, I just dropped the link in for you again. And because Evelyn needs it too, we are at 22:30, 22:32, 22:33. And ask me for another timestamp if you need it. There's something a little bit creepy about the sound of a music box.
Yeah.
It's a common trope in scary movies.
One thing I love about old movies, when they go to the kitchen, I love an old kitchen.
Oh yeah, me too. Makes me think like,
I mean, look at that stove. That is a beautiful piece. That's a beautiful appliance.
Casey Scott said that the Dwayne Jones character was played
Tony Todd.
Was played by Tony Todd, right, in the remake. Again, the way his death is handled in there takes away all the agency of the social commentary that we'll talk about when we get to that end.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's one thing to remake a movie. It's another thing to completely ruin some of the most important aspects of the movie in doing so. Remember, this movie was done in what was it, 68?
Yeah, 68.
And race relations were a big part of it. So the ending's a huge commentary on that, and it strips all that away by the way they changed it in the remake. However, I do understand why the remake existed, because this fell into the public domain.
Mm-hmm.
There was no way for Romero to like make any money on it anymore. So yeah, he could make money on sequels, but he wanted to be able to make money from this story. That's why he did the remake.
Calendar on the wall says December 1966. Actually, went back on mine to see what it was, because I'm like, I saw December. I'm like, what year?
Okay.
I was 4 years old when this, supposedly when this was made, or at this time that they are.
Now, here's the thing we don't know. Was this actually set in December, January of 66, or was that calendar just sitting up there that way with the house, full of dead people for 2 years? Who knows?
Yeah. I'm thinking that's probably when they were filming it, and it just, through post-production and stuff.
Yeah, Aged Boomer is basically saying exactly what I did too. Barbara's the main character of the remake. Ben is the main character of this one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at that nice table. He's gonna bust it up.
Casey Scott's going to be our expert on the trivia for this movie. He said the house they filmed at is gone. The owners were going to tear it down, and they regret it after Night blew up.
Yeah, after this movie blew up, it was like so successful.
After this movie blew up, they regret it. Yeah, I getcha. Because it's the kind of thing that fans would love to be able to, visit and, use as the centerpiece for a convention or something like that.
Yeah, it was in Pennsylvania, wasn't it?
I have no idea. I wouldn't be surprised.
Because I saw something at the beginning that said Pennsylvania.
I was kind of wondering where that cemetery is that they started out at. So, presumably Pennsylvania. Now, I know I have family that's buried in a cemetery in Pennsylvania, so for all I know, some of my relatives could be those zombies.
I have family in PA as well.
Really?
Yeah, my sister lives up there. My half sister and some a couple nieces and their families.
No. Evelyn says her mom had a table like that. Polishing the table legs was a bitch. Yeah, my grandmother had a table like that with those kinds of legs.
Yeah, my grandparents had a real nice old heavy, table in their kitchen, and some of my relatives somehow like just disassembled it to use for whatever, and I'm like, oh man,
Yeah.
that would have been such a nice piece of furniture.
Owen Lister says, which would be worse to deal with, the Deadites from Evil Dead or the zombies from this movie? What do you think, Al?
I would have more trouble with the Deadites because they're like armed and armored and
Yeah, I think so
like an
too.
organized army. These guys are, like I said, if I had a sword, I could probably kill most of these guys coming at me.
Especially once you figure out.
If I were in full like good shape and all.
Later on in the movie, they established that you got to go for the brain in order to kill them. So once you realize that,
well, cut their heads off. That's pretty much all you need.
Yep.
After this, you gotta play Jonathan Colton's "Eat Your Brains."
You know what? You're right. I think I will. The cemetery is Evans City, Pennsylvania. It's a borough out in Butler County. I live about an hour away from there. Oh, that's pretty cool, Sir Torrin Clegane. Unfortunately, I don't know where my family is buried. I would have to ask my mom, and so I still don't know if that's where they're buried or not. And he was. That's a good heavy table.
Mm-hmm. It's before all the plywood, well, not plywood, but particle board.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Barbara, shut up before I smack you.
Yeah, I know. It really is a very different world that we live in now.
Oh, it's like long ago, I used to read Harlequin romances, and every time the woman was like, "Oh, I'm so helpless," I just wanted to smack the crap out of them.
You mean women don't really act like this?
No, they don't.
Oh,
Well,
man.
most
My
don't
bubble.
anymore.
Not ones from my generation, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for all you youngins listening, I'm a lot older than you.
I would like to think that women are a bit tougher now than they used to be. But I don't know. I mean, my grandma's generation was pretty tough too.
Your grandma's generation was Italian. You didn't mess with grandma.
Well, yeah, that's true. I meant the greatest generation. You know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Owen Lister says, here's a funny story. My mom and her class went to a theater to watch this movie while the older grade got to go to Cedar Point. She wasn't happy because she hates horror movies. Yeah, Cedar Point is pretty cool. I would have missed that too. Casey Scott is pointing out that the father and daughter in this movie were really a father and daughter. I did not know that. It'll be interesting to see them again when they come up.
And then she faints. How useless.
So the story that I heard, not related to this movie specifically, but my uncle, um, when he was in high school, he was on the baseball team, and the whole baseball team, the coach took them to see Psycho, and he went up to get popcorn, and came back with a bunch of popcorn and soda, and he came in just at the shower scene, and he got about halfway down the aisle, curtain flies open, and he said the popcorn just went flying. So Wolf 10 Media is sharing something personal. My greatest fear when I was young was if it couldn't be killed or at the very least wound. If my family couldn't take it out, I was deeply fearful of it. Yeah, that would be something to be fearful of. And that's why you see that common trope with the zombies and with Jason and Michael Myers and so forth. This unbeatable force that you just can't kill. You know, it just doesn't stop. It keeps coming. Terminator, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Agent Boomer, I thought the same thing. Her hair really does look like a wig.
It's the way she's got it. She probably has back in the day, they used to call them falls, which is a partial wig to give your hair a little bit more volume. But she also has it like the top part kind of pulled back and
Yeah.
with a little bit of there's a hairband there, and then she's got it kind of fanned out over that, so that makes it look like she's got a hair attachment. So it could be a fall, or it could just be the way she's got her hair fanned that it looks like a wig. Yeah, I always hated that style.
Evelyn said that she grew up watching old sci-fi movies with screaming faint women. Now that makes me wonder. See, I think there's an impression that in previous generations that's the way women were, but I don't really think so. I think that was just something that we saw on the screen, because in real life, you know, your average man and woman just had to deal with life, you know, and get past, you know, whatever emotional stuff was going on and just deal with reality. That's what got us through the Depression and World War II and all that kind of thing. You think of the you know, the frontiers men and women, you know, moving west. They were tough people. I can't see those women being, you know, screaming fainting types.
Fire bad.
Yes, oh, Lester, by tougher women, I mean actual women, not a bunch of blue-haired Twitter snowflakes. That's right.
Well, Sarah, something big guy would love to carry her and sniff her feet. No.
Well, not under these circumstances.
No.
Now, of course, I'm talking over all of it, but you're getting a lot of exposition from the news playing. You find out what's going on in the rest of the world and what's going on. Well, not so much why, but speculations about it.
But it's pretty much the situation everybody's dealing with now. We want you to stay indoors, stay informed.
Yeah, it's like Coy and I were joking. We went to Target to go pick up a couple things. And as we're walking down the aisle for pasta, we figured, we'll grab a couple boxes of pasta. The entire section was empty except for lasagna.
I'm like, you know, I understand taking pasta. It's definitely a staple food. It's a good survival food. But what the hell do they have against lasagna noodles? It's still pasta. You can still eat it. What's wrong with it?
Same with the dollar store. We went there to get a couple of things. We figured they'd be wiped up. We were get everything that we needed there. And same thing. Their pasta section was wiped out except for lasagna noodles and egg noodles.
Oh, I love egg noodles.
Right?
Yeah, with lasagna, you can do all kinds of stuff with lasagna. Heck, if anything, just slice it and you get spaghetti.
Yeah, good point.
But heck, just put meat in it, wrap it up.
So that's very interesting. Casey Scott said the crew once heard from some students that a professor said this movie was a reverse Birth of the Nation when the zombies reach out to get Ben. Yeah, we're going to talk about, that again too towards the end. But this is very intelligent. He's going through the house and saying, okay, what do we got? What tools do we have at our disposal? How can we protect ourselves?
Hey, I found some shoes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's something to be said for that too.
And I bet they're her size.
Owen Lister, I would encourage you to not completely ignore it. Listen to everything and evaluate it. There's always at least a kernel of truth in it. You just need to find it. But don't take anything at face value. So Torrin again, lasagna.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've had a good, fresh lasagna.
Yeah. But like I said, you don't actually have to use those noodles to make lasagna. You can just boil them and, serve them that way. Even cut them into longer strips to be like a linguine
spaghetti or linguine or fettuccine or.
But that's what I said. I look around and I'm like, and I see everything that's missing, and it's like, you know what? These people aren't doing this for survival. They're doing it out of stupidity. And then we go down the aisle and I'm like, why aren't all the bandages gone? Why aren't all of the, they took the alcohol. That's brilliant. But they didn't take the antibiotic ointment. They didn't take the bandages. I'm like, these people aren't thinking survival. They're thinking, I don't know. They're not thinking is the problem.
Now the question is, what killed her, and is it still inside?
Right. Exactly.
Well, when he started to close one door, they showed a like a cupboard door that was hidden, and they kind of focused on that for a second, like this might be something important, and before moving on to whatever else he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
That dang fat horn cat. Yeah. The reason the windows behind Ben aren't boarded up is because there's a large dip in the ground, though most viewers don't know that.
God, nice old radio.
I think that was a Zenith.
Yeah. That's one of my first TVs was a Zenith that I can remember.
Yeah, he just popped out of the cupboard.
Yeah. Why is he messing around with it? If he's going to listen to it, just listen to it.
Yeah.
Yep. So now you have equivocating. This guy's hiding in the basement. And now he's just justifying it. Now, see, that's the funny thing. When Nanette and I bought this house, we looked it over and we checked out the basement and we checked out the upstairs and we said, "Yep, I think we could defend this place in a zombie apocalypse." That was one of the selling features of this house.
I always love to set up the that Michael Gross and Reba McEntire's characters had in Tremors.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
That
we
was
got to do
behind.
a rewatch of that too sometime.
yeah.
That is a valid point. Their strength is their numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, but once you're in that basement, you're trapped there
Yeah,
and you're done.
yeah.
That's a dead end.
Whatever you've got with you, that's it. Once
Yep.
it's gone, it's gone.
See, he knows it. You got to think tactically. You got to think smart. Yep. You lock yourself up in the basement as a last resort, not as a first resort.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. See, that's what I'm talking about. Again, the stupidity of others.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Lester, I wouldn't necessarily say that being on the roof is the safest because then you don't have access to the interior and you don't have access to the basement. The best place to be is in the house. It's defensible, but you can still escape from it. You have the option of going into the basement. You have the option of climbing up onto the roof if you want.
Some really cool camera angles. Wow.
Yeah.
Don't just shoot him already.
I think he's trying to get a clear shot.
No, I think
Not
at this point,
good enough.
yeah, at this point, he doesn't know that you got to go for the head. There's also, here's the problem with guns. First, you have limited amount of ammunition. Okay, you can probably only take one of them out per shot, and the sound will also. Okay, so now he's learned something. Aim for the head. But now see all these guys.
Ooh.
They heard that. Now they're coming.
Food. Whoa.
Yep. Well, because some of your some people die naked.
Yeah.
They're not going to actually show anything. I mean, that guy's wearing a toga.
Yeah, but we just saw the and see.
Oh, yummy.
That's very interesting. So they'll eat anything. They'll eat bugs. They'll eat people. That was always my theory about zombies. They're working on pure instinct. Yep. Okay. Just be happy they're not dealing with the zombies from the Resident Evil games. Oh yeah, good point. That's a whole nother level. The post production was gambled on a chess game. Crew won it. Was free. They lost. They'd pay double. And if they had lost, this movie wouldn't be here. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah. I mean, it's true. It is a very defensible position, and you definitely can board that up, and they won't be able to get you there. But you can't get out either.
Yeah, clock's ticking on you immediately.
Yep.
It's a siege. You're in an immediate siege situation.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Aged Boomer says Mr. Cooper is the villain of this movie. I suppose in a way that's true. And I guess that was my point. You know, it's the stupid people that are your biggest danger in situations like this.
Yeah. That's a woman who knows her husband.
Did you catch that? Yeah. I wasn't going to take any chances. No, of course not. Actually, Owen Lister, if you're going to bother to capture them, what you should do is put them all on treadmills that are hooked up to
power
your city. Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of what they infer. Some of the things that they do with the zombies in Shaun of the Dead at the end.
Walking Dead Electric Company. How may I help you?
Now that's interesting. Have you noticed that in zombie movies, you never see them eating each other? It's almost like they eat the dead until they get reanimated, and then they don't eat them anymore.
They eat the dead until they get stale.
Right. Yeah. It needs to be living flesh. So that little girl is that guy's real daughter in real life?
Apparently so. That's what Casey Scott had said.
Huh.
And I think this is one of the things that makes this such a classic. Because again, you have a bunch of characters that you don't know anything about, but you start to kind of find out about their whole story going. Obviously, this is a couple that has had some serious marital problems, you know. Do I have to?
She's a nice looking girl.
Said, gee, I went to the bathroom. I come back. There's a kid and a girl. Where'd they come from?
They came up from the basement.
Okay, so the door I saw earlier wasn't a cupboard; it was the door of the basement.
I would like to know who that actress is because you're right. She does. She looks a lot like. She looks like Susan Eisenstadt.
She does. I wonder if she is.
No, it's not her. But she'd be about the right age too. Let's see if I can figure out who this actress is.
Let me see. I've got it. I've got the Wikipedia page up.
Of course you do. You're clever that way.
Her character's name is Judith Ridley.
Oh, she's playing. Judith is playing
Judith.
Judy. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't been in a lot of things, has she?
Yeah, it's funny. I think a lot of these people really didn't go on to do anything
Yeah.
much. I mean, they, the odd film here and there, but this is what they're known for.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing. Not a bad legacy though.
Well,
To be in that one classic film.
I also wonder how many of these people actually intended to be actors or were just doing it to help get the movie made,
Yeah.
Well, you could had every opportunity to help.
He is a major
Yeah, he is.
Richard.
Yeah.
So, Carl Hardman, he's one of the film's producers. He was also the voice of the newscast I heard on the radio of Johnny's car.
Oh, interesting. So one of the things we realized was because just our normal purchasing habits, we tend to stock up on, things just in case of an emergency.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's lived through the news about Katrina and stuff should be intelligent enough to know you don't wait until emergency to start preparing, right?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, now what we're finding out is we have all the stuff that we need that is, necessary to live, but we didn't really think about some of the creature comforts, like Diet Squirt.
Mm-hmm.
What this is a soda that I like, and I couldn't buy in quantity because they're all out.
First of all, I love that television. That
Right?
TV is awesome.
See, and I love that you get the important details of what's going on, but you never do find out why it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. The basement scenes were filmed at Romero's studio. The house just had a closet where they dug a hole. They had to squat to make it look like there was a basement there. Interesting. Yeah, I'll bet that house was built on a slab and didn't even have a basement. Yeah, Wolf Den Media owned by us. I'm not going to say that the stores are picked clean, but it's amazing what is completely sold out and what is, still commonly available. It's bizarre. It shows that people just aren't thinking.
So it would have been Johnson making these decisions.
Good point. Good point. That's kind of scary. Can you imagine what kind of decisions Johnson would have made? So that's interesting. That's one possible theory, that some sort of space radiation that came back on a satellite, might have caused this. But they never explain it with certainty.
Hey, it's the Brigadier.
Right?
Sure looks like him.
Casey Scott said they lacked the city names when it was on TV because they didn't want to cause a War of the Worlds scenario. On the one hand, that seems so unnecessary, but at the same time, people are so stupid. I guess it's probably a good idea.
So the person is smart, but people are dumb.
Yeah, exactly. Well, unless they're sort of trying to think how the Twitter millennial would handle this situation. Well, just look at Twitter right now. You'll kind of see how people are handling it.
Ooh, 3-star general.
The reporter asking the questions is Romero himself.
Oh, that's Romero?
Apparently so.
Cool.
Can you mute your mic, please? Mute your mic, please. And that headset that the guy on the right is wearing, we have one of those, and my gosh, those things are uncomfortable. Wolf 10 Media, this will be the first year where I may end up seeing 2 or 3 movies. You only see one movie a year, Wolf 10 Media? I'm not sure I'm following you.
That would be freaky.
Right? Melissa Harris, I don't think any of the characters seen in this movie show up in any of the sequels. The general scene was actually filmed at the Capitol. The crew were afraid the they might have been arrested for impersonating real government officials there. Interesting. I guess that is the danger of a low budget film because, a higher budget film would have permits and permissions and
Hmm.
stuff.
Yeah, you hear a lot about like a lot of these films coming close to getting some kind of fine or arrested or something. He's a short little guy.
Oh, Wolftown Media is talking about like going to the cinema.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to be going. A lot of people are not going to be going to the cinema. And to be honest with you, depending on how this year goes, I think a lot of places are going to go out of business. We're going to lose a lot of cinemas because the industry has been hurting before this. This is
Hmm.
just going to be the death knell for a lot of things. Oh, that's interesting.
I, I know.
Latrobe is appropriate because Romero got his start working on Mr. Rogers, and Mr. Rogers was from Latrobe.
Hmm, I'm just gonna say where, but that guy right there,
Uh huh.
he's got some pretty eyes for a guy.
He's kind of got some guns too.
Yeah.
But
But
I'll tell you,
he blinks fast enough though.
yeah, not much of an actor though.
Yeah, yeah. Like I did a couple high school plays.
Casey Scott said movie theaters and comic shops are all going to die after this year. I don't know about that, but we did stop at our comic book shop last week, and I said we want to stock up on comics because coronavirus. Well, Wolftime Media, that's why we do these kinds of things. If we can't get together, out in the real world in person, we can still get together online.
That's why I find these a lot of fun. Like no matter what film they're watching.
Right? Just get together and chit chat with all
Yeah.
y'all.
Oh, it's kind of sweet.
Well, and that's I think their role in this movie is to be the sweet couple that you're kind of rooting for.
Hmm.
They're young and a little bit dumb, but not so dumb as to be making really stupid decisions.
Yeah.
They're just trying to do the best they can.
Jeez.
So
Robot
this is what
activated.
Yeah, so this is what you have to do so that we can do what we have to do so that we can leave.
I'd like to leave.
Actually, Evelyn, I don't think our audio dropped out. I think we just went quiet for a little while.
Uh,
We do that sometimes. We start watching the movie, you know. Now, see, that's an indicator that he did a good job of boarding it up in the first place.
yeah, you can't get it off.
Now, but see, I'm the type who would say, "Okay, I got to pull these two nails out, not because they're holding anything, but just because I can't leave them there." Okay, now this guy's on the second floor, right? Yeah. You kind of expect it to be safe.
I want to know why that guy's wearing a toga.
He was at a party when he died. Actually, I think it's supposed to be a hospital gown.
Don't set the car on fire. You'll never get out.
That's a good mantra, Wolf 10 Media. There's some wisdom there. Well, he's thrown the Molotov cocktails around the car because he needs to clear a path for them and get them away from the car. And actually, now that I think about it, Al, you may actually have a point. Because they're dead, it's not like a body that moves the same, that has a circulatory system going and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be more candle-like in the way it burns.
What's the stuff? Formaldehyde. Is formaldehyde flammable?
Formaldehyde is very flammable, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
You have an excellent point. Now, not all of these people would be embalmed, but you're right, the ones
Right,
that are.
yeah.
No. Head.
And not head, moron.
But in reality, I mean, in the real world, you usually aim for center of mass. So unless you
Right.
know that the head is the only vulnerable spot, you wouldn't know. Oh, and Mr. Toad.
Animal House. We'll have to do that one of these days.
Absolutely.
Animal House. Whoa.
Now, see, this is, at least to begin with, intelligent. It's like, okay. Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, boom.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Derp, the derp, the derp.
But what would have been intelligent would have been to put out a line of gasoline to, start a wall of fire around the truck to keep
Yeah.
the things at bay. That would have been smart. So Wolf 10 Media points out that if you look at what they're wearing, it kind of gives you an indication of where they were and how they died. The ones in the hospital gowns died in the hospital. They never got to be embalmed. The ones that are in, their Sunday best, they were probably, buried, or they were at least at their funeral or whatever, at a wake.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah.
How did it catch on fire? I wasn't watching.
The kid, when he went to put the gas in the car,
Right. He
splashed it all over, and it got caught up by the torch that he was using to keep the zombies away.
dumbass.
again, right in the chest. So Casey Scott said the boards have numbers, which you can see because they wanted to remember where the door they go on after a retake. Oh, interesting. Yes, this scene is creepy. Because now you go, okay, how do I fight off all of these things just to get back?
Well, you're faster than they are, so that's one thing.
That is a benefit.
Yeah, but Melissa already gave a spoiler on this, so I was trying to ignore it.
Yeah. You cowardly little bastard.
Yeah. And now he's going to help because he's got to keep them from getting in. Yeah, now it's a makeshift job. Now you don't have the time to be really careful with it. Yeah, that's fair. That's perfectly fair.
I love that phone.
Troy, do you remember the FCC song from Family Guy? Or censoring real like and saying Peter Griffin chin looks like balls came up today. Woke social justice blue haired weirdos. That's why we can't have good films. Yeah, that's pretty much true.
I do know that FCC song. That's funny. Cooked meat.
Yeah, I understand, guys. The limitations in the chat. But you know what? If you have to split up your comments between more than one entry, go for it. Yeah, that's some pretty disgusting stuff.
Yeah, I'm deliberately not watching the grossness.
That is disturbing on so many levels.
Yep. Yeah, and he's getting sick.
Well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I suppose so. So what happened? Oh gosh,
yeah,
she's a mess. She has just gone bye-bye.
I say she is checked out of the hotel.
Wolf Ted Media said what really creeped him out about that scene was the sounds. Yeah. That adds something, a whole other level to it. Aged Boomer says he has a craving suddenly for finger sandwiches.
Ew.
She seems like she's starting to go bye-bye too.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Yep. But see that again, we have that reaction because we know that zombies spread their infection by bites. He doesn't know that, but he makes the logical conclusion some disease is going to be transmitted in a bite, right? It's finger licking good. Ew.
That's all that's left.
He saved the sausage for last. Oh, she's still going.
Chicken.
Yummy.
Right? Okay, so now at this point they know that dead bodies turn into ghouls.
Mm-hmm.
So
That is bad.
so
The
now they know
radiation
bring the
is
bodies.
the radiation is continuing to rise, so this is not going away anytime soon.
Right.
This you know, I must say this is very relevant to what's going on today.
Exactly.
Hey, it's the social distancing crowd.
Yep. Exactly. Okay, and now you know that the head shot is the vulnerability. You know, I didn't want to say it, Sir Torin, but I was thinking the same thing. Kind of got a taste now for KFC.
I don't know you.
Come on, KFC.
That's gross.
Now, see, this is you get the implication from this that there's a bunch of people out there, and there will be more, and there will be the military and so forth. As they start to discover what's happening, eventually they're going to get control of this situation. And the logical conclusion would be that going forward, you know, they're going to get through this situation. They're going to put down all the Walking Dead, and then from now on, they're just going to have to make sure that we cremate dead bodies within a certain amount of time of them having died. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, from time to time, you're going to have an issue with a body that dies, you know, and nobody knows about it, and they go out wandering, and you got to, you know, put down a flare up of zombies, but otherwise things will be fine.
It's fine.
And now they've lost electricity.
The woman playing that guy, Marilyn Eastman. Okay.
The one on the left hand side there, her.
The Helen.
Yeah, the one playing Helen. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She was also the one who played the ghoul that ate the insect.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, I guess they made her up a little different.
That's very interesting. That some of these people played multiple characters. Yeah.
Yeah, Karen Cooper, the 11-year-old daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She also portrayed the mangled corpse in the house upstairs that Ben drags away.
Oh, interesting. Now, again, individually, they're not so bad, but all together, they can knock down the doors and the wall. And now, see, this is kind of where you want a sword, and any hand that comes through just gets lopped off.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Now, this is stupid. Before, he was like, okay, I got to help you. It's still in your best interest to board off those doors and windows, you idiot.
Damn.
Yep. Now, what's crummy about that is she literally put herself in that position.
Yeah, no, he's a zombie. No, he's gonna eat his kid.
Oh, and listeners, what would Lovecraftian zombies look like? Well, Lovecraftian zombies are pretty much like any other kind of zombies, but they're usually just the symptom of something else that's going on. Some other cosmic horror that's happening in the background, bringing the dead to life.
Finally came to.
Wolf 10 Media says,
Ooh.
all honesty, I wouldn't even know what would come of my mind in a zombie attack.
Oh, now she's a zombie. Yay.
Because she died and now she's come back.
Oh, that's probably why Daddy didn't need her, because realized she was dead and just kind of collapsed her then.
Yeah. And again, using tools.
And why did they just lay there?
Yeah.
Okay, honey, I told you I don't like slasher films.
I had forgotten about this particular scene.
But it's fairly tame, though, when you really consider.
Right. That's true.
But listen to the sound and the music.
Yeah.
That is frightening.
Isn't it? But Wolf 10 Media was saying, all honesty, I wouldn't even know what would become of my mind in a zombie attack. I'd like to believe that I have spent enough time preparing for crises that I would. And there he is. That's her brother.
He's there to get you, Barbara.
Exactly.
Oh, Johnny was her brother? I thought it was her boyfriend.
Oh, I thought it was her brother. Yeah, because they were talking about when they were kids and they went to that cemetery. But I'd like to think that I wouldn't always make the right decisions, but I think I'd at least keep my head. I'm usually pretty good in a crisis because I tend to not panic. I might not be quite as sharp as Ben, but I'd at least like to think I could keep my head together and keep most people calm and working together.
The food's downstairs.
Yeah, and again, now that's it. Their only escape is closed off to them. They will never be able to get out of there.
Unless they go out a basement window.
If there are basement windows.
Probably some kind of ventilation, though.
Yeah, that's true. Big Al presents not as frightening as the scene from
Ugh.
Day of the Dead where the one guy's head gets ripped off and his
Whoa.
yeah. Boy, he just keeps coming back like a bad penny, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Shoot him in the head. Little girl, go and bite your hand off.
Oh yeah, there's her too. She's gonna wake up soon. Yep, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Is she the only one left alive now?
I think Barbara's still alive. No, she got taken.
She got swarmed. She became a all you can eat buffet.
So yeah, I guess he is the only one left right now. Oh, that music is creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now it's morning.
And all the zombies are in the house.
You must expect to hear that. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, exactly.
dun, 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 dun.
Da, 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 da. But right now you have, all the, I suppose you could call them the local militia.
Just set the house on fire. Get it over with.
Right. Oh, it's full of zombies? Okay, let's just nuke it from orbit. Oh, gosh. But yeah, this was one of those circumstances. They had no way to know it, but if they could just last the night, they'd be okay. Oh, German Shepherds. I love those dogs.
Wolfgang's got a bandolier gun and still wearing a tie and a hat.
Yep.
Because that was the style at the time.
Well.
And a cigar and his cigars.
Yep. Right. Wolf Dead Media. I was thinking of that too, like the ending of The Mist.
Oh, yeah.
Was that the slogan? If you thought the night was horrible, wait until you have to deal with the dawn. Was that the tagline for Dawn of the Dead? If not, it would have been a good one. Okay, so this is very crucial. Okay, in this original version. Okay, so now you have all of these people with guns. Okay, taking out the zombies. They're pretty much wiping them out. So they're clearing them out. It's going to be safe. Ben is okay. He has not been bitten by a zombie. So, yes, he's the only survivor, but he did survive. Oh, it's just something Ho and Lister came up with. Well, it would have been a
But,
great tagline for Dawn of the Dead.
You gotta shoot him in the head.
Okay, so you hear gunshots going off, and you figure, well, I don't think the zombies can use guns. So,
But he doesn't know if they're still in there. Ah, my face.
yeah.
Okay, so all the zombies are gone. Apparently.
See, now this,
You didn't even see if he was a person or not, dumbass.
and the implication being, again, this is, and everyone takes it, and I'm sure it was intended this way. This was a racial commentary. You got a bunch of people running around with guns taking care of the zombies, but they see it as an excuse to take out whomever they want to, you know? And
You
that's
know,
what is terribly, terribly creepy about a
if I was
circumstance.
Ben, I would have been, hey, hello, I'm okay, you know.
yeah.
And
But he didn't say anything. He just crept towards the window like an idiot.
and this not overt, but somewhat overt commentary on racism, okay, is completely removed from the remake because Tony Todd's character, when he emerges, clearly is a zombie. So they're shooting him means nothing. He was just a zombie that needed to be put down, appropriately so. Here, they just murdered a man, and that's the creepiest thing about this movie. You had all these other deaths, but it was zombies killing these people, and it's tragic, but it wasn't murder. This was murder,
All
you
right.
know. And it's sad, and it leaves you thinking, oh my gosh, this really is the kind of thing that
And laid them right next to the original ghoul too.
You're right. I hadn't noticed that before, but you're absolutely right. And yeah, bonfire, they're disposing of them appropriately. The end. And there you have it, folks. So, what am I basically getting at? In times of crisis, keep your wits about you.
Yep.
Think. It's always better to plan, but for lack of planning, at least, keep your head and think yourself out of the circumstance. And you know what? You're better off. You're better off with people than alone. Work together.
And make sure they know you're alive.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But they're saying this a lot on the news, and I'm going to reiterate it. Help your family, help your friends, help your neighbors. Because in crisis circumstances, we do much better together than against each other.
Mhm.
And it's the stupid people out there that are going to make this a very, very difficult time.
And just stay stocked up. Don't worry till something happens to start clearing the shelves out.
Exactly.
Everybody laughs at those preppers, but
nobody's laughing at them right now.
I was laughing now. They're sitting back relaxed with all they need to last as long as they have to.
Yep. So, and I promise
powdered milk, canned goods, prepared, packaged meals.
Things may be crummy for a while, but this is going to pass. And I encourage you guys, go out there, stock up on the pasta, stock up on the canned soup, stock up on the rice, and always keep that, because you never know when another Katrina is going to happen, or another disease that's going to keep us bound to our houses. Bad snowstorm. You never know what the circumstance is going to be. There's always going to be something that you should be prepared for. That's why I learned from the Boy
stock up on
Scouts.
oatmeal. Oatmeal's another good staple.
Oatmeal's another good one. And that
Yep.
stuff keeps indefinitely, as long as you keep it dry.
Honey lasts forever.
Oh, yeah. Honey's a great one. When it crystallizes, you just heat it up and it melts again, and you're good to go. Sugar and salt. Those are also very important things to keep in quantity. But anyway.
But yeah, I'm always looking at like Amazon, you like see like the however many packs of tuna fish and all the things like Vienna sausage, or even like the weird stuff like that.
Yep. Spam. There's an absolute purpose for spam to exist. And we stock up on spam just because Nanette likes it so much, but then we end up.
But it's bacon spam.
Yeah,
only bacon
she
spam.
Specifically likes the bacon spam.
What tastes like bacon?
I have to. Someone gave me a recipe for a spam curry. It was like rice, spam. Like it had the curry seasonings. I know it had peas in it and some other stuff, but it was good.
Yeah.
And I wish I still had the recipe. I don't know. I have to look it up.
What Nanette really likes is you take a tin of the bacon spam, you dice it all up really fine, throw it in a frying pan. 1 can of diced potatoes, dump that in, you fry them up with a little bit of onions, and you got an excellent hash. And then you just take a scoop of that, put it in a bowl, put an egg over it.
You're gonna say crack a couple eggs in it?
Yep. And then maybe a little bit of cheese. Awesome stuff.
It's really filling.
Yep. And then for just the two of us, that'll last us at least several nights. But good movie.
I want spam now.
Right.
Bacon spam.
I was like, I've never had the bacon spam.
It's the same. It has a bacon flavor to it.
Yeah, they have a jalapeno spam too. I always wonder what that's like.
Do they?
Well, the other thing is, if you take the can of spam and you make thin slices of it, you can fry it up just like bacon, and it tastes like bacon.
Yep, it is pretty good.
Yeah, I like bacon. I like fried spam and eggs. That's good. I always put a little hot sauce on my eggs or my scrambled eggs, not my over easy eggs, but my scrambled eggs. I always put a little hot sauce.
Yep. Owen Lister says if you have to go hunting, I did tell Nanette, because she likes to put out nuts and popcorn for the squirrels, and we have squirrels that come every morning. I said, you realize if things got bad enough, those squirrels are going to be dinner. I'm just telling you, that's the way it's going to be.
Or a nice rabbit.
Rabbit meat is good. It
really
is.
It's very tender.
Yep.
And it does taste like chicken.
And there's almost no fat. In fact,
it's very lean.
They've said that if you were to try to subsist on just rabbit meat, you won't have enough fat in your diet, and you'll get sick just for lack of fat. But most of us don't have that problem to worry about.
Nope. That's the one thing I'm not worried about is lack of fat.
Lack of fat. Exactly. But all right, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another Saturday Night Rewatch.
You didn't play Jonathan Coulter's Eat Your Brains.
Oh, that's right. Let me find that real quick. There's one more thing that I want to share with you guys because it would fit so well with this. Give me just a second.
There's an artist. He did this thing called a song a day, and he decided that every day for, I think it was a month, he was going to write a brand new song. Oh, for a year. Okay, so he's even longer than I thought. And
it was a week, a thing a week, I think it was.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, he wrote all these really weird and unique songs, And the one that Troy's looking up is hilarious.
Regarding Your Brains is what it's called. Give me just a second. I'm going to drop it in the stream right now. All righty. You want to join me on this?
Okay, I don't see it yet.
I just dropped it in the stream. Okay.
There it is.
Now,
Oh my God. I have to highlight and.
Oh, you have to highlight?
And the words are
Yeah, because I'm a StreamYard. You can't just. It doesn't make a link. Only YouTube makes the link for it.
So here's the story behind it. Okay, zombie apocalypse, and one of the zombies is this guy's coworker, and his coworkers have turned into zombies and are coming and trying to kill him. Okay, so let's. I'm good. If you guys all, the link is there. If you guys want to go ahead and start it, we're going to start right from the beginning. 3, 2. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Make sure L's there.
Ma'am, I'm having issue with it not wanting to pause. I'm trying to. It won't. Yeah, I'm trying to get it back to the beginning, and it's
okay,
fighting me. Okay, right. I think I'm ready. Give me a little circle, but I think that'll go away when I hit it.
Okay, so here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. Okay. And all the graphics come from World of Warcraft. So you get the impression these zombies can talk. Kind of like the Day of the Dead. But here's an FYI. You're all gonna die screaming. Nobody's gonna eat your eyes. We just want to eat your brain.
All we want to do is eat your brain.
If you'll open up the door, we'll all come inside and eat your brains. Is this really your plan? Reference to a different Walking Dead film. Someday you'll be out of food and guns. See, just like in this one, they didn't think it through. And I plan on eating you slowly. And I like this zombie just kind of dancing. That's kind of sexy for a zombie. Notice also using office speak, you know. I'm not a monster. Well, yeah, I guess I technically am. Yeah. So this is a funny but scary take on the zombie genre, this song. Again, it still sounds like, you know, office speak.
Guess we'll table this for now.
Yeah. I don't put this as I bash your head open. So I think you kind of see where this is going, yeah. Open up the door. We'll all come inside and eat your brains. Anyway, I encourage you, look up this artist. Jonathan Colton has some great ones. They're all like this. There's one called Creepy Doll. He's also got a song called The Presidents, and he's got like one line for each of the presidents up through, I think it went through, did it go through Bush or Clinton? I can't really remember. But yeah, he's got one line for each of them, and it's really a great little song. But I'd look into them. But I thought that one little zombie song would be a great one. Well, actually, it was Nanette's suggestion, so I think that was brilliant. So Evelyn is asking, what are we watching next week, Al?
And Owen Lister is exactly right. It is the 1980 Flash Gordon film starring Sam J. Jones, Melody Anderson. And the reason we're watching it is because of the recent passing of the great Max von Sydow, who is the perfect Ming the Merciless. No one else could have done that role at that time. He embodied Ming so well. But yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. The music of Queen is, of course, awesome. Yeah. I mean, you hear the word. I gotta say, someone says Flash, and you just want to go,
you have to.
Savior of the universe.
But before that, so we did have to postpone the Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, but we will be watching that tomorrow night on the Professor's channel
at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Please note that I do have in the description of this video right here, I have Professor Geek's channel tagged there, as well as Sound Engraver. Sound Engraver is going to be the co-host with Professor Geek tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe to both of their channels and that you return to Professor Geek's channel tomorrow night, same time, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. Am I right?
Getting my avatar ready for it. Me meeting the lovely Felicia Day, who is in.
That's right. You met Felicia Day.
Everybody wonders what I really look like. That is me.
And then of course, Tuesday we're back for office hours. Thursday, is it chapters 11 through 15?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes, 5 chapters of Dark Force Rising. I can't remember the title of the book. And the second book of the Thawne trilogy.
And then is Fan Man next Friday?
Fan Man does plan to have a Fan Man tonight.
Fan Man tonight next week Friday, and then again over.
But you never know. But you never know. With the Fan Man, you never know. But and yes, like I said, next Saturday night, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 1980s Flash Gordon, the classic. God, I love that movie.
Yep, there you go.
If anybody's a fan of that movie, I'll probably talk about it again then. But there's a film called Life After Flash. If anybody's ever seen it, it kind of mainly follows Sam J. Jones, but it has a lot of stuff about doing, behind the scenes of that movie. Talks to a lot of the stars, and there's a lot of cool insight to making of that movie. Find out a lot of neat stuff. But it's called Life After Flash. I know it was streaming on Amazon at one time. for free. Not sure about it now, but just keep an eye out. If you're a fan of Flash Gordon, highly suggest it.
Yep. Yep. Okay, everybody. So that's the weekend geekery coming up. So hope to see you all at as often as you can make it, because to be honest with you, I just love seeing y'all.
Mhm.
This is the best way to be social now in these social distancing times.
Yeah, but if you
For me,
haven't thumbs up yet, make sure you thumbs up.
Yeah, give us a thumbs up if you haven't already, but I'm sure you have.
for me, this is life as usual.
Yeah, that's true. Nothing changes for you, and this is the equivalent of a vacation for us. Even though we have to work, we're working from home, so it's
Mhm.
actually pretty nice. But everyone, take care, stay safe, stay healthy, because hey, we're looking forward to the next stream that we can see you guys at. Okay. Any last words from you guys?
Just want to
Well,
let everyone know: beware, they're coming for your toilet paper.
You're covered for toilet paper,
and if
absolutely.
my editor ever gets around to it, eventually I will have content on my channel, which
Yeah.
will be called Simple. So,
Yep. So once we have some videos up, I'll start sharing the link so that you can go check it out. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining us, and you take care. And hope to see you tomorrow night for on Professor Geek for Dr. Horrible's sing along blog. Take care, everyone.
bye.
Bye, bye, guys.